Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad, and welcome to Thursday's edition of the DCEU Daily. So we have some major Wonder Woman free leaks on today's DCEU Daily, courtesy of the hashtag show. I've heard of them, I'm not sure of their validity, but we'll go through what they're saying. Then afterwards we will talk about J.K. Simmons saying his Commissioner Gordon has an expansive role in the Batgirl movie. And by the way, that's something he should have always had in Justice League. He basically got nothing, hardly anything, and even in the Snyder Cut. And he should have been in BVS. We'll discuss that when we get into it. But first, let's talk about these Wonder Woman free leaks. Jason Momoa's Aquaman appearing in Wonder Woman 3. Plot details. Now, this was posted by Nick Santos on November the 24th. I think that was yesterday. So let's look at this. Hello, everyone. Your friendly neighborhood Professor Hulk here. I'm about to drop some knowledge of some exciting stuff in film and TV world. Last week, we shared with you details on unannounced Star Wars projects, blah, blah, blah. We are talking about Wonder Woman 3. Wonder Woman 3 is currently in development, and we have exclusively learned of plot details from the film. Before we get too excited, we should mention that this information comes from a very early script draft. Most fans know, but movies undergo rewrites, often even sometimes amidst filming. So while we're excited to share these details, know that they're in flux. Some plot critical elements are expected to carry over. Some could change. Let's dive into what I know. So he's giving you that disclaimer, and also if he's making this shit up, it gets him out of it if none of this stuff ever happens in the film. So let's get into it. Take it all with a pinch of salt though. What's the film about? We can exclusively share that the plot will take place in the present and focus on Asteria, finding Diana and recruiting her to help her find an old ally who's gone insane. This is Arion. Arion is a hero of both Themyscira and Atlantis and bridges the two worlds in a way. However, when he goes insane, he wreaks havoc on Themyscira and his sights for Atlantis. This also puts the two worlds at odds with each other, not dissimilar to how they are in the Flashpoint comics. Now that's very interesting, isn't it? Because we know there is a Themyscira and Atlantis war in the Flashpoint graphic novel. Will they thread this kind of in to the Flashpoint movie as a hint to what's going to happen after Flashpoint? I guess we'll have to wait and see. While the first film was an origin film and the second was about Diana accepting her responsibility, the third film will truly make Diana a leader and someone who can indeed lead the Amazonians. Now, interesting again, because in Zack Snyder's Justice League 3, she was going to become Queen of Themyscira because her mother was going to die. As I have mentioned so many times, they're going to thread elements of Snyder's 5-movie arc in certain DCEU films after Flashpoint, even within Flashpoint. Interesting. Who else is and isn't in the movie? Wonder Woman will be joined by Jason Momoa's Aquaman, reuniting them after Justice League when Arion decisively defeats Wonder Woman and further puts an alliance between the Amazons and the Atlantis at risk. She goes to Aquaman to assist her. So this is interesting. They're saying that Jason Momoa's Aquaman is in this film. So what's piqued my interest about this is it looks like the Jim Lee element and the Ann Sarnoff and the Walter Hamada trying to link all these films together from Flashpoint onwards is a thing. I actually believe a lot of and most of what's on here. It makes a lot of sense, but this seems very anti-Patty Jenkins, who's not really a fan of the connective tissue model and just wants to make her own movie. Could there be problems? I don't know, but this is what I want. I want a connective tissue. And Diana going to Arthur, Aquaman, for help. Will he want to help her? It's going to be interesting. There's also talk in the script of Blue Beetle technology. While I did not see any overt reference to the Blue Beetle character in the script, there was a character named Jamie Reyes, who I suspect to be Jamie Ray as Blue Beetle in the comics and the upcoming film. So if this is all true, Jamie Ray as the Blue Beetle also would be in this film. Notably absent from the screenplay was Chris Pine's Steve Trevor. Not too shocking considering that the character got some closure with Diana in Wonder Woman 1984, but there's not even a flashback or any other reference. So, I believe this is wrong, this is a mistake. Just because he's in no early scripts doesn't mean he's not in the movie. Now, Chris Pine and Patty Jenkins have got a great relationship. They've worked together many times before. I even believe he was being tapped to be in her Rogue Squadron movie. Of course, that movie has been postponed and probably never going to happen. So, don't forget this comes after Flashpoint. They're rebooting the universe, they're relaunching the universe, but nothing will ever be forgotten. He will be alive again. So I believe he will be in this movie. The only way Chris wouldn't be involved is if Chris was pissed off. And Chris doesn't get pissed off. He doesn't bite his nose off to bite his space. Chris is an alpha male. He likes a lark on set. He's a straight arrow guy. Lovely man. If you've ever met Chris, you'll know he's a lovely man. And I want him to be in this movie, and I think Patty would want him to, the consistency of him being in 1, 2 and 3. So do expect Chris Pine, Steve Trevor in this film, and I wouldn't listen too much of that. Beware of the dreaded rewrite. As mentioned previously, while these plot details are exciting, it's worth noting that the film is still early in the screenwriting process. As a result, things can and often do change. Although the more prominent story beats are retained in most cases, in addition, some minor plot points may change as the film continues. They may change as the film continues in the screenwriting process, but expect some things, Arion, Aquaman, etc. will be retained through the various rewrites. Well, this is very interesting. So let's look into this, right? So let's go back up again so we don't miss anything. So the first point is Jason Momoa's Aquaman is supposed to be in this film. By the way, I believe everything what he's saying, and he's just saying that Chris Pine isn't in the script. That means jack shit. Now, how has this guy got onto this information? Someone has leaked this to him. Now, the person who's leaked this to him got this from Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers want us to know this because it doesn't hurt anything. It doesn't hurt anything to kind of know that Aquaman's going to be in Wonder Woman 3. They want us to know this. It's exciting, right? Now, there's always been rumours about Affleck and Cavill being in this film. We'll have to wait and see. They will be big drops, and they're not ready to drop that yet, if they are indeed in this. Now, I've been very sceptical about Patty Jenkins being involved with Wonder Woman 3, but I like this. I really like this. So Diana going to Aquaman after this Themyscirian kind of nut job has beaten her up, and you know he's trying to take over Atlantis. He's trying to take over Atlantis and Themyscira, and so it's clear he defeats her and he does take over Themyscira. So this was once a good person. So expect by the end of the film that he gets a Wonder Woman lecture like what's his name did, I forgot his name now, Pedro Pascal's character, Maxwell Lord, got a kind of lecture at the end of Wonder Woman 84, which I found really effective and emotional. So it'd be interesting. I think we're heading to a similar thing because Patty doesn't like these CGI battles. Fair enough, that's her vision, I get it, but this does sound interesting. So, as I say, it's very interesting. So we go to what's the film about again. And we talk about this, now Asteria is the character that Linda Carter played very, very minimally in Wonder Woman 84. And so, you know, her and Diana will be on this mission to find this Ariel. So this is how it starts. I don't expect Linda Carter to have a huge role in here, but I expect her to be in about 20 minutes of screen time because she isn't getting any younger and she won't be able to do any running around. But it'll be good to see her because people loved her as Wonder Woman. Not my bag, really. I mean, she was my first experience of live-action Wonder Woman, but I didn't get much out of that show, if I'm honest. So that's exciting. So the premise of the film is very interesting. I like the idea of this, you know, I mean, obviously, they're going for the mental illness thing, because Patty did say they wanted to do something very relevant to today's society. So that's interesting. I like the fact that in the Joker movie, there's commentary on mental illness, not about a man, but humanity's mental illness, right? And the attitude towards mental illness. So it looks like we're going down that direction. I like that too. And looks like we're getting Jamie Ray as the Blue Beetle. So the underlining element of this film, it looks like, is the connective tissue to the exterior, the extended DC Extended Universe, and I like that. And it's about time too. We can actually see an Atlantis kind of Amazons battle as well. Now, I think this is going to be very exciting, because I think Jason Momoa could play a big role in this movie, and I think you're going to see the relationship between him and Arthur Curry really expand. Now, someone asked me, does this mean that Amber Heard's Mira will be in this film? Unless she's killed off in Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom, yes, she would definitely have to be. Everyone, Nicole Kidman, everyone, unless they kill her off in the second movie, of course. Whoever survives the Lost Kingdom would have to be in Wonder Woman 3 if you're representing Atlantis. So I like this. This is a very exciting premise. And I'll tell you this now. This is more exciting than I thought. And maybe once we see this film, Wonder Woman 84 will be a bit better of a movie. I'll be clear. Wonder Woman 84 isn't a bad movie. There's just elements of it that didn't work for me. And so, very, very interesting. Comment down below. Let me know. Do you believe this? Do you like these plot leaks about Wonder Woman 3? I do. I think they're great. I think they're sensational. I think they're really good. And as I've already said, I'm surprised how good this sounds. So A, let's just in brief say this. A, I believe the leaks. B, I like the leaks. And I like the element of Blue Beetle and Aquaman being in this movie. This is going to be a huge crossover movie and something to get really, really excited about. And I expect it to be a much more superior movie than Wonder Woman 84. Patty will never admit her mistakes with Wonder Woman 84, but I think she will want to solidify this trilogy as her trilogy, so I'm excited for it. It looks like from next year onwards, we're going to get awesome DC interconnected movies, and I can't wait. Just a little note before we finish speaking about Wonder Woman 3. Now, we've spoken about the Snyder Cut and Justice League 3 when Snyder was going to have Diana become, take the mantle over of Queen of the Amazons. So I think that's how we're going to end this trilogy on, that she's going to be the Queen now. So this doesn't mean that Gal will never play Wonder Woman again. What this means is this is a new normal for her. So going forward, she will be the Queen of the Amazons, but she'll still be Wonder Woman in the real world. But maybe by the end of the film, she'll retire from being, with man, if you like, and be with her own people and leading her own people. So what you might get going forward is a lot more crossover movies, and you might have to wait a while to another Wonder Woman movie, but eventually you'll get one with this new era of her being Queen. The question has to be asked, what about this kind of Amazonian kind of movie that Patty was going to make as well? We haven't heard much about that. So very, very interesting, and we'll have to see what happens. But I'm really buzzed and excited about these leaks. I've said it before, I'll say it again. It really is an exciting time to be a DC live action fan. We've had a mixed time since the inception of the DCEU. Some of you like Sam Snyder's material, some of you don't. I do. It's been very in and out, I admit that. But wow, going forward, I think we are really going to trounce the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I haven't been overly impressed with Marvel on D+, on Disney+, and I think what they're doing with HBO Max and DC is very exciting. More movies rather than TV shows, and I know we're getting TV shows as well, but I think we're getting a mixture. It's more ambitious. And talking about that, next year, the Batgirl movie goes into production. And J.K. Simmons has been talking about his role in the movie. Now, this is the first time he's kind of confirmed he's in the movie, and this is by Nicholas Dertinger of Screen Rant. Batgirl movie's Jim Gordon has bigger role than in Justice League movie, which wouldn't be too difficult. And, you know, I said that Perry White should have been in Justice League as well. That was a mistake. And we'll talk about what I think about, you know, my opinion of Jim Gordon not being in BVS, which I think is a bit of a problem. Returning to play Commissioner Jim Gordon in the upcoming Batgirl movie, J.K. Simmons is set to get a more significant role than in Justice League. The Batgirl movie's Jim Gordon is getting a more significant role than he previously did in the Justice League movie. First introduced in Justice League, Jim Gordon, played by J.K. Simmons, had a relatively minor role in the film alongside the ensemble cast. Now with Simmons returning as Gordon, it seems like his role alongside Leslie Grace in Batgirl will play a significant part in the film's story. Before Simmons' return as Jim Gordon, Batgirl had been in developmental hiatus since its announcement in 2016. Initially, Batgirl was going to be written and directed by Joss Whedon, but Whedon, who famously took over production on 2017's Justice League from director Zack Snyder, left the project in 2018 and was replaced by writer Christina Hodson and directing duo Aldi El Arbi and Bilal Fallah. With the development of a new script and the casting of Leslie Grace as Barbara Gordon Batgirl, it was only a matter of time before casting Jim Gordon. Simmons, speaking with Josh Horowitz of the Happy Sad Confused podcast, reveals that his version of Gordon is returning for a more significant role in the upcoming Batgirl film. While he couldn't go into the details of the script or plot of the film, Simmons teased an interesting take on Batgirl and that his Jim Gordon has more to do in this film than in Justice League. As I said, you know, when they say significant role, that's interesting, but how significant? Because anything's more significant than his role in Justice League. I thought the script was a really interesting take on introducing Batgirl and giving Jim Gordon, fleshing him out, certainly more than I had a chance to do in my first portrayal, in my first foray into that. So probably even he's not happy how a smaller role he had in Justice League, and I don't like it either. Simmons had initially been contracted for 3 films when he signed on for Justice League. Simmons' appearance as Jim Gordon came across more like a glorified cameo, with the role being drastically cut down. It wasn't until the release of Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2021 that fans were treated to more of Simmons' portrayal of Gordon. However, even with the 4-hour extended cut, Simmons' screen time as Gordon was relatively limited. Whether the script will address Gordon's connection to the events of Justice League or not, Simmons is determined to leave his mark on a character that has long been tied to Batgirl, Batman and Gotham alike. The character of Commissioner Jim Gordon has been an iconic staple of the Batman mythos in comics, TV and film. Since the character's initial inception in 1939, though there have been various adaptations of Gordon and Batgirl in a wide array of media. The relationship between Jim Gordon and his daughter Barbara has never been depicted on the big screen, and while numerous comic book storylines could be adapted or influence the plot of Batgirl, it remains to be seen how Simmons' role as Gordon will impact the character of Barbara Gordon Batgirl in the upcoming movie. Now, I don't think we've got a release date for this, but I think it is next year. And I think they go into production very, very quickly, either by the end of this year or next year. I know I said next year at the beginning, but it could be very, very soon. So there's a script, they go into production soon, they're shooting the movie very soon, and J.K. Simmons has said he gets to develop his characters, which means he's going to be in this film a lot, because after all, he's Batgirl's, Barbara's father. He's important. Now, they could have gone with any version of this. They could have said this is Elseworld. So this confirms that she's in the DCEU. So if we are getting this film next year, and I think we are, this sounds like most probably pre-Flashpoint. Now, Flashpoint comes out in November, but what they could do, if this film is affected by the Flashpoint story and things have changed because of that, they may not release it till December. So I have to wait and see, and if any of you have got release news that I don't get, or I haven't got, please comment down below, because sometimes you guys get more stuff than I do. I mean, I'm looking all the time, but sometimes you miss stuff. I'm a very busy man, unfortunately, and my concentration level can flicker. But anyway, I'm happy So you would imagine that Batfleck's Batman is the Batman, seeing J.K. Simmons is Commissioner Gordon. But as I say, if this film lands next December after Flashpoint, then we know why. That means everything has changed, and it could be in fact Michael Keaton's Batman, who is the Batman of the DCEU, or somebody else. Or they may even bring Pattinson into this Earth. Who knows? Nobody knows at this point. But at this moment in time, I think we'll say that Batfleck is Batman, but nothing's been confirmed. But we do know Batman is in this film. Again, just like Wonder Woman 3, we are dealing with the expansive DC Extended Universe at long last. Since Snyder left, they've been doing this self-contained shit. Now we're expanding the universe and everyone will cross over. Don't be surprised if Blue Beetle crosses over in this film as well. So this is very exciting. They are world building again. Snyder started with the world building and the crossovers. When he went, that stopped. But they realised this is the way to make money and to excite the broader audience. So I think this is great. I'm excited that Batman's in this. I'm happy that J.K.'s Commissioner Gordon's going to be in this. And also, let me say this, J.K. Simmons' Commissioner Gordon should have been in Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. Why am I saying this? Because it's a story about Batman. If Batman's there, Commissioner Gordon should be there. You know, he's such an important character to the mythos. And if you think that Batman's going mad and doing some really bad things in BVS, shouldn't Commissioner Gordon be there trying to get him off the ledge? Surely. Why wasn't he in this movie? And it goes to the thing that people put in their movies what means something to them. And maybe if Commissioner Gordon isn't a big deal, you know, to Snyder, like Jimmy Olsen isn't a big deal to Snyder, he's called him a small character. In fact, Jimmy Olsen is very important to the Superman mythos. He's you and me. He's like the Doctor Who companion. He's your way, he's an ordinary person's doorway into this extraordinary world. And people don't understand that about Jimmy Olsen. And Commissioner Gordon, he's you and me. He's a cop, then he's a commissioner. He's very relatable. And I like that element of the Gotham TV series as well. And I love Jim Gordon. And I think he should have been in BVS, but I'm glad they're fixing these errors now. He's going to play a very, very big role in Batgirl. And that excites me. It excites me that an actor like J.K. Simmons gets to flesh out this character, as J.K. has said himself. I'm very excited about this Batgirl movie because I think, as I say, everything we're hearing about now, we're getting lots of news. And they're definitely bringing in the cameos and all of that and the kind of connected tissue that I've been predicting for a very, very long time. And I think that's awesome. Still to come on today's DCEU Daily, we read out a new synopsis for the Batman. But first, Zoe Kravitz says Robert Pattinson is perfect for the role in The Batman by Spencer Perry of Comic Book. Pop-ups. Much like when Michael Keaton was first announced to be cast in the part of Bruce Wayne for Tim Burton's Batman, some fans weren't so sure about how former Twilight heartthrob Robert Pattinson would do under the cape and cowl. Though Pattinson's larger film work since the Yar series has proven him to be a risk-averse and daring actor, the first footage from the new movie has satisfied many fears. For those still unsure about how Pattinson's Dark Knight still stacks up compared to others, let his co-star do the convincing, as Zoe Kravitz, playing the new version of Catwoman in the film, has high praise for him. Rob is perfect for this role. He was incredible. His transformation was out of this world. Kravitz revealed to Variety, confirming that she has seen some of the film. Director Matt Reeves has a lot of heart and he cares so much for these characters. I'm just very excited for him to be able to go on vacation because he deserves it. I hope the fans love it because we put a lot of work into this. Matt Reeves doesn't have a vacation, Zoe. He'll be thinking about the next project. Early footage of Kravitz's role as the new Selina Kyle Catwoman has many Bat fans already excited, hoping that an on-screen romance to blossom between her and Pattinson's Batman. If she survives the movie, you know my theory. The most recent trailer certainly alludes to it heavily, and the all-new synopsis for the film further hints at her place in the overall narrative, teasing such characters that will be appearing alongside her, like Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, Colin Farrell, Carmine Falcone, John Turturro, and Edward Nashton, aka the Riddler, Paul Dano. There was just something very special and magical about the way Pattinson and Kravitz played off of each other right from the beginning. Director Matt Reeves said of the pair's chemistry back at DC Fandom 2021, and so I just knew right away. I was thinking, well, there's just a really neat look. I know you guys are friends, and so there was a great chemistry right from the beginning, that I felt like there was a connection which you naturally had. And I feel like when we were filming, obviously that came out more and more. And do you know what? This kind of chemistry between hero and love interest, of course, Catwoman's more than that. I'm not trying to say she's just a love interest. But we haven't had anything rich and raw like that in comic book movies since, really, Raimi's first two Spider-Man movies. And we put 3 into that. You know, the chemistry between Tobey Maguire and I forgot, what's her bloody name? One of my favourite actresses, and I can't remember it. She was in Interview with a Vampire. Jesus Christ. And Jumanji with Robin Williams. I forgot her fucking name, but she's awesome. Anyway, the chemistry between those two actors in those 3 films is probably the last time we've seen that kind of chemistry in a comic book movie. So I'm hoping we get that kind of thing in this movie too. The cast for the Batman also includes Jeffrey Wright as the GCPD's James Gordon, Peter Sarsgaard, the Magnificent Seven, Interrogation as Gotham DA Gil Coulson, Jamie Lawson, Farewell Amori as Meryl Candidate Bella Real, and Andy Serkis, the Planet of the Apes film's Black Panther, as Alfred. So that's very, very exciting. So Zoe Kravitz is giving us a lot of she's trying to sell Robert Pattinson's The Batman. She doesn't have to. I've been excited about this ever since this was announced, because I have seen Robert Pattinson's independent work, and since he was doing the mainstream stuff, and it really is good. He was good in Twilight. You know, why people hate him in Twilight anyway, I don't know. I know the Janir is very mainstream, but to judge an actor when he's done well on something, even if you don't respect it, is a bit weird. He's going to be a great Batman, a very different Bruce Wayne, and I can't wait for all of us to be talking about it. So there is a new synopsis for the Batman, and I kind of screenshot a couple of the things from Twitter because I can't find this anywhere, but there is a longer kind of thread of kind of actors in it and everything like that. But this is about what's going to happen in the movie, this synopsis, so let's read it out. When a killer targets Gotham's elite with a series of sadistic machinations, a trail of cryptic clues sends the world's greatest detective on an investigation into the underworld. But we go on. As the evidence begins to lead closer to home and the scale of the perpetrator's plans becomes clear, Batman must forge new relationships, unmask the culprit, and bring justice to the abuse of power and corruption that has long plagued Gotham City. So they keep on changing the synopsis, not changing it, more adding to it. Everything we've read is still happening in this movie, but they're adding more and more because they can't keep on showing us trailers. I think they've shown us 2 now, right? Both very, very awesome. So this is a great element of the marketing. But I think there is something a little bit more, but it's not about the story. Where are we? And now I can't find it. Let me press pause and see if I can find it. So here it is. I mean, it doesn't really give us anything we don't already know, but let's go into it. So it says The Batman, and the tagline is not just a call, it's a warning. Interesting. From Warner Brothers Pictures comes Matt Reeves' The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson in the dual role of Gotham City's vigilante detective and his alter ego. Reclusive billionaire Wayne, 2 years of stalking the streets as the Batman, Robert Pattinson, striking fear into the hearts of criminals, has led Bruce Wayne deep into the shadows of Gotham City with only a few trusted allies. Alfred Pennyworth, Andy Serkis, Lieutenant James Gordon, Jeffrey Wright, amongst the city's corrupt the wording is so small, so I do apologise. City's corrupt network of officials and high-profile figures the lone vigilante has established himself as the sole embodiment of vengeance amongst his fellow citizens. When a killer targets Gotham's elite with a series of sadistic machinations, a trail of cryptic clues sends the world's greatest detective on an investigation into the underworld, where he encounters such characters as Selina Kyle, Catwoman Zoe Kravitz, Oswald Cobblepot, the Penguin, Colin Farrell, Carmine Falcone, John Turturro, and Edward Nashton, the Riddler, Paul Dano. As the evidence begins to lead closer, this is what I've read already, but we'll go through all of it because there's more, closer to home, and the scale of the perpetrator's plans becomes clear, Batman must forge new relationships, unmask the culprit, and bring justice to the abuse and corruption that has long plagued Gotham City. Starring alongside Pattinson, Tennant the Lighthouse, is Gotham's famous and infamous cast of characters our Zoe Kravitz, Big Little Lies, Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, as Selina Kyle, Paul Dano, Love and Mercy, 12 Years a Slave, as Edward Nashton, Jeffrey Wright, No Time to Die, Westworld, as the GCPD's James Gordon, John Turturro, the Transformers films, The Plot Against America, as Carmine Falcone, Peter Sarsgaard, The Magnificent Seven, Interrogation, as Gotham's DA Jill Coulson, Jane Lawson, Farewell Armour, as mayoral candidate Bella Rill, with Andy Serkis, the Planet of the Apes films Black Panther, as Alfred, and Colin Farrell, the Gentleman, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, as Oswald Cobblepot. They should have just said Phone Booth. That's his greatest film and greatest performance. Reeves, the Planet of the Apes franchise, directed from a screenplay by Reeves and Peter Craig. Based on characters from DC's Batman, Batman was created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. Chanel Nong, Val and Simon Emanuel serving as executive producers. The directors behind the scenes creative team included Oscar nominal photography Craig Fraser, June, wow, Lion, Ray's Planet of the Apes, James Chinlund, and editor William Hay, editor of Tyler Nelson's Remori, and Oscar-winning composer, of course, Michael Giacchino, like the current Spider-Man Star Wars films. And basically he did Lost, which is the best thing he's ever done, by the way. Warner Bros. Pictures presents a sixth and Idaho Dylan Clark production film, The Batman. The film is set to open in theatres the 2nd of March. Is it the 2nd of March? 2022. I thought it was later than that anyway. I'm obviously wrong. And will be distributed worldwide by Warner Bros. Pictures. As I say, a lot of useless information in there, a lot of good information in there. And so I do like the new synopsis, by the way. It gives more details as they talk about a larger threat. Is there a larger threat than Edward Nashton, the Riddler? Edward Nashton's the Riddler reminds me of the ice truck killer in season 1 of Dexter, and I think he's kind of trying to help the Batman in a way. He wants the Batman to know the truth because he knows the Batman is really the one who can break this corruption, but he's killing people. So the Batman will obviously have to stop him, but will he? It's going to be very, very interesting. I believe this is going to be a Batman film like we've never seen before, but going deeper than this, this is a comic book movie like we've never seen before, and that excites me too. So yes, very, very exciting. It's going to be the first DCEU movie of 2022. There's 6 altogether, including Batgirl, and of course Jamie Ray as Blue Beetle as well. It's a very exciting year. This is going to be the new look DCEU, and I can't wait to see how it all plays out. And finally today, there's always been this argument for a very long time, maybe ever since Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, but especially BVS and his Snyder Cut movie. What should the public be getting from the entertainment industry? What they want to show us, or what we asked for? Well, it's interesting because Grace Randolph was talking on a video and she was saying, you know, directors should be able to do their own things with non-franchise, but with franchises, they should put their egos at the door. But the thing is, Grace, Star Wars, we didn't ask for Star Wars in 1977. It was George Lucas's vision. This was someone who wrote and directed a movie. the way he wanted to do it. They were his concepts, his ideas, inspired by other great stories of the past. We didn't ask for that, but we loved it, you know. And Indiana Jones, George Lucas and Steven Spielberg. Yes, they tried to make something that we would enjoy. Again, their concepts, their plans, their ideas. So Grace, I think you're wrong. Now I know the MCU and Fake does this. It depends what you're talking about. Do you want films to make the biggest money, or do you want to enjoy the movies? The most enjoyable movies in the history of film, especially in Hollywood, have been the ones where a creative has actually used her imagination to do something sensational. And once we put a lid on the imagination and have all these kind of condensed, kind of tinned foods, kind of franchises and films like the MCU. The MCU is making top dollar, no question, but it's not making great movies. This has been the DCEU Daily. I'm Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wives. Like, share, please comment down below. Please subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss this perfection. And of course, don't worry if you miss me when I'm gone. I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. Until then, goodbye.